Zoran has retired from TWF Racing. Well, from work. He is retiring and moving back to Croatia. If you don't know who Zoran is, well, he started TWF Factory. He's one of the first people in the whole world to race an SV650. He bought one in 99, went pretty much right to the racetrack, threw a number plate on it, or taped over the headlight. I forget. I have a picture. I'll put it on the screen. Not a month or so later, he already had some S-Rad Gixxer forks on there, Gixxer shock. You know, he had instantly started messing around with these things and had just become the go-to guy since 99, 2000 for SV650s. He had worked on many other bikes, you know, doing kits for the Kawasaki Ninja 650s. He's worked on R3s, all this stuff. SVs are the staple. That's how he's known. You know, TWF Factory started in 2001, or about there. The old man can't quite remember. But you know, it's been going on. Let's just call it for 2.5 decades of Zoran giving the racing community his knowledge, expertise, parts, everything. His suspension, you know, was always my favorite to ride on. I've been fortunate enough now to learn from him and teach me so much about racing and motorcycles. If you don't know, Zoran is the only reason I ever rode on the racetrack. I got my first SV when I was 18 years old, and about when I was 20, I had been emailing Zoran about parts and doing little things, and I asked him about getting on the racetrack, and his reply was simply, buy a plane ticket. That's what I did. Bought a plane ticket, flew into Reno. He gifted me with 2 track days at Thunderhill with Zoom Zoom Z2. Got to ride his SV, and you know, I never really looked back for the most part from SV's most fun bikes, and always represented Zoran in any way I could, you know. And for moving forward, this is crazy that TWF will be under my ownership now, and we'll be offering the services and parts, everything that Zoran did. You know, he's someone you can't replace in the racing community. I definitely cannot replace Zoran, but I believe TWF needs to live on. Every SV racer out there around the world pretty much knows who Zoran is and what TWF Factory brought to the table. So it's pretty cool that we get that, you know, going. So there'll be a new website and Discord for that. Now, most of you know I have been part of TWF from day one, and I've always represented Zoran in the best that I can, and part of his legacy is first gen SVs. So part of getting all his stuff was he had a couple of these, you know, whatever you want to call these things. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to race prep a couple first gen SVs and go racing, not this year, but next year, and kind of pay tribute to him and run a, you know, full yellow TWF team. The bike behind this one, some TWF people may know, this was a bike that Zoran called the Bling Bike, and was kind of going to be his final build. And he had been collecting parts for some time. It's funny, is when I had first flown out to Reno and met Zoran, I walk into his office, and this frame is sitting bubble wrapped on a shelf, and is also bubble wrapped as a carbon fiber gas tank. And I asked him what's going on with that, and he called it the Bling Bike, and it was going to, you know, be just a bunch of cool parts. There's a dirt bike Honda CRF rear caliper on it, Öhlins forks. Anyway, you know, we're pretty far past 2009 when I first saw that bubble wrap frame, and as you can see, he didn't get very far. So we're going to build that, finish that one. Here's the SV500. Will be a video on that soon. It's finally done. I started this project in 2018. Regardless, anyway. Yeah, as you can see, stuff is everywhere, scattered. The amount of parts that we have to go through, and there's a storage unit, but we'll get everything organized. I was going to wait to do this video until we had this all set up, but no better time than the present. So as you can see, we got a lot to organize, sort through, get ready, so TWF can function smoothly. So we're not quite open yet for business. I'll have the site launch soon. Put that in the description. There's a Discord for everyone to join if you want to talk about lightweight twins and SVs and get help and support for that. That'll also be in the description. LWT, I know this is being posted on the LWT channel, not going away. We'll have videos soon on this promoted DB5 and the SV500. A few race weekends coming up here as well. This will be a couple weeks out until I ride that. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know the date at the moment. So TWF LWTs, they're not combining. They're going to be separate entities. LWT will still be its kind of news media site for the lightweight twin stuff. TWF will continue to be, as Zoran was working at suspension and parts, you know, those kits for SVs, boring throttle bodies, all that stuff. So, yeah, it's exciting for me. I think it's one of those pinch me moments or dream come true or whatever cliche you want me to say. You know, Zoran was the guy who got me into racing and who has taught me a ton, not just about SVs, but just in general, everything with racing. And I think it's a huge hit to the racing community to not have him there to help and do suspension and everything. So that's why I wanted to keep it alive. And yeah, looking forward to what's to come.